I might be getting old and boring, but I think I'm starting to understand mice for productivity. Yes, it might not be the most performant mouse, but yes, it's also very good at what it does. And that is exciting in its own way. What isn't exciting? The MX Master 4, the latest in the dominant line of productivity mice that Logitech has released, does not come with a USB-C cable. I think that's a step too far. I think product makers kind of towed the line with not including charging bricks with phones anymore. You know, we have enough charging bricks, but we can use more cables. Cables are basically disposable at the quality that they make them in. And the fact that there is none in this box makes me slightly sad. You wouldn't like me when I'm slightly sad. That's all that's in the box. We have our mouse, our dongle. I'm for miniaturization, but this feels like something that's gonna get lost, especially because I don't think there is a spot. Oh, there is a spot. I guess you can keep it plugged into your mouse itself. That's an acceptable spot for it to go, so no points lost. But let's get down to the brass tacks of it. What makes this mouse special is not its sensor, it's not its performance. It's the fact that it is designed for your hand to fit comfortably. It is well featured for work tasks, and it is a premium material that theoretically should last a long time, unlike the previous MX Masters that were disgusting after a couple months of use. Am I right? I am. This is already a huge improvement. We got premium materials. It's kind of like a knurled plastic. This feels like it's normal mouse material. It's gonna last a long, long time. Oh, this is heavy. How heavy is it? 150 grams. I guess when you pack in all these features that some people want into a tiny little package, it adds up. Like this aluminum scroll wheel. I wonder how many people actually really care about that as opposed to people that are like, that's pretty cool. You can set it to have different amounts of clickiness electronically, but it also, the faster you scroll, it kind of disengages the notches and it goes fast. You can do like 1,000 lines a minute. So Logitech says. I don't really know what that means. I feel like you can do unlimited lines a minute. All you do is just speed it up in software. Cool. It's rare that I start with the scroll wheel. It's just kind of a big deal on this buddy guy. It also has a side scroll wheel, which is very useful for productivity. If you are a gamer, look elsewhere. There's so many reasons this is the wrong mouse for you. If you are someone who works in an office, hey, how you doing? You got money? You wanna be a sugar mama? Back to the physical tour of the device. It's interesting. It's sort of like a 2 layers of plastic on the buttons. It's got like a gray plastic underneath and then a transparent layer on top. You can sort of see the edges of it. So it has an interesting look. Feels like a little bit of over-engineering maybe. The clickiness is almost non-existent, like it feels like you're pressing down on rubber domes. It is by design, because this is an office style mouse, you don't wanna have really loud clicks unless you're that person in your office. You can get your clicks by tapping really hard, but like most clicks are pretty soft and subdued. Below that we have our wheel button that we can control in software. We'll get to that when we get to it. The overall shape from the top is a fairly ergonomic one. It's not one that feels uncomfortable to me, but it's not one that my hand yearns for. It feels like it's gonna engage the top part of my hand without really bringing in the bottom, which is fine. It also feels quite heavy for how front heavy it is. Like it feels like it could kind of like run away on me, like, whoa. I've been using the Keychron M5 at my desk, and that's a lighter mouse in a vertical stance, and this feels significantly less ergonomic than that, although this feels significantly more ergonomic than most mice that are out there. It also feels quite premium, although some kind of mechanism or something feels like when I swing really hard, it's sort of like bouncing around inside the mouse. I'm guessing that's the haptic feedbacks that's not currently on right now, doing something weird, but it doesn't feel quite that premium. Let's go to the side where we have our big mouse scoop button thing. That is sort of the killer feature of this mouse. But we have a forward and back button, an extra button, and we have that aforementioned scroll wheel. At the front, we have our Type-C port. It is not recessed, so pretty much any cable should charge this, which is nice. On the bottom, we have decent looking PTFE skates that'll make for a pretty smooth gliding experience, considering how heavy it is. Then we have our on-off switch, and we have our 3-device switching mode, so you can pair it up to 3 devices and seamlessly switch. I know that's a big deal for some people. For me, it's not a big deal because I prefer to have one mouse per device so that I can just lift off, switch. Maybe if I got used to lifting up, pressing a button and waiting for a second, I think that would be pretty cool. But I like very quickly being able to switch between them. You'll notice that on the bottom there is no like mode switching. There is no going to 2.4 gigahertz mode versus Bluetooth versus wired. That's because this mouse can only do Bluetooth. Yes, it has a dongle. Sadly, this is a Bluetooth dongle. But it is a premium product, and the way that if you're watching this video, you probably care a lot about. And I can't wait to explore those a little bit more after I tell you about our sponsor.
Thanks to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. If you're looking for something to do, how about getting in the driver's seat of over 2,500 realistically modeled war machines to cause utter destruction on a massive virtual battlefield? Each shot you land can damage individual components, making every engagement uniquely exhilarating. Play for free today on PC, mobile, or consoles using our link. Today. Now.
All right. After what must have been the most frustrating pairing process I've ever experienced in my entire life. I've downloaded the software, I've connected the mouse. No, continue pairing, I want to pair! It's no longer connected to your computer, so you can't actually click connect. Use your logic, Logitech. Big fan of needing two mice to set up one. My device is right here. We are finally connected to the software. And we're going through kind of like a first use wizard. I'm not against that, especially for who this mouse is targeting. It's not necessarily power users that really know what they're doing. It's people that want like a productivity mouse and they want to be able to set it up exactly as they want. From our best guess, it's pretty similar performance to the MX Master 3S. The descriptors they use are basically the same, although there's very little information about this mouse that Logitech will share with us. There might be more on their website by the time that this mouse is actually out. The sensor in here goes up to 8,000. Wow! That's not ideal. This is not a scientific test, but it should give us an idea of what the polling rate on this mouse is. Oh, that's such a bummer, man. Oh, come on. You can see that it peaks above 125, but my guess based on these numbers is that it actually is 125 hertz polling rate, which is definitely a bit of a bummer. That's not ideal. Let's go back to the software though. Scroll wheel modes. The scroll wheel automatically shifts from line by line scrolling to free spinning when you scroll faster. It is pretty cool. You can now set a different scroll force from the point, scroll, and press settings. Click the mode shift button to toggle modes manually. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, oh. Interesting. They've assigned this extra side button to sort of be a gestures kind of thing, where you hold it and move in a direction. I feel like that can't end well. I'm not a big fan of that side button. That's okay. All right, now we get to the interesting stuff, the Haptic Sense panel. That is this side button. Push the button to open the action ring. Okay, okay. You have all these different options. Play, pause, Windows Explorer, emoji, Windows screenshot, Logi Options Plus, Ask Perplexity. Oh no. We have our AI tools panel. Oh wow, we have ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, and Copilot. Wow, 4 AIs at the push of a button and then a slight push over and then a click of another button. Incredible. I'm being a little bit sardonic. This kind of stuff really isn't my bag, baby. If this is something that excites you, great. And you can kind of see it working. You can also download other configurations for specific software so that it's context specific on what pops up, which makes it even cooler. Here's the problem. Look at the screen. Log in to install plugins. If you want to customize what this wheel does, you have to log into Logitech. I think that is a little absurd. I don't want an account just to change the controls of this hardware that I bought. We're now at the real options, which is great. I can customize my buttons, get them to do a whole bunch of stuff. You can assign the hold and moves, task views. This is quite thorough amount of reassignment, which is pretty cool. You can even add applications to the specific buttons. Pretty cool. You can change the scroll wheel stuff. You can invert or standard scrolling force. Let's go 100% so I get that nice sort of clicky. Smooth scrolling you can turn on by default so you don't have to like really rip to get there. With Smart Shift, you can actually turn on and off that mode where the scroll wheel will let itself go when you rip really fast. I like the tactility of the little notching, so I think I'm gonna turn it off. And I don't often scroll through thousands of lines of code. But I'm gonna keep it off. The thumb wheel has fewer options. You can only change the speed and the direction, so cool. Haptic feedback, haptic intensity. Hi, baby. there is an actual clicking action. So this pad will click in. It's not like the touchpad on the Steam Deck where it has such good haptic feedback you think it's clicking, but it's not actually clicking. But then if you hover over things, it vibrates a little bit as if it was a click. It doesn't feel as tight as high-end devices haptics, like a PS5 controller or the Steam Deck even. But it's neat enough, and it certainly indicates when you're over an item. So I think you would probably get pretty good if you were using it pretty fast, even if you weren't staring at it to know which direction you were in. So I think that the haptic feedback does its job. It does note here that if you have the higher settings, it increases the battery usage. So maybe I'll go back to a lower intensity. Yeah, the more I play around with this, the more I want subtle. All right. Enable haptic for app plugins. Install plugins. Find more from Marketplace. I guess this is pre-release software, so by the time this comes out on September 30th, there might be more things. But right now, it's only Photoshop, Lightroom, and Zoom. This is cool. This is what I wanted to see. You can reassign all of the parts of the action wheel here. You don't necessarily have to do it plugin by plugin. This actually could be fun if you were the right audience for this. I actually think this is pretty neat. There's other ways to accomplish what that's doing, but this is a possible tool in your toolkit. We don't need to spend a bunch of time playing games with this mouse. It's not designed for that, it's designed for productivity. If you are excited about this mouse, you're excited about this mouse. This is not a high performance mouse, and I think that Keychron is kind of coming for Logitech and this sort of premium product by offering similar feature sets with way better performance. It doesn't have the haptic wheel, but like I said, there's a million ways to sort of add macros to your workflow or shortcuts and stuff. And so I don't think that this is as killer of a feature as Logitech wants you to think that it is. But maybe you're looking at that, or maybe you have less mobility in your left hand, so having more tied to your right hand is something that's really excellent for you. And I don't want to yuck your yum. I want to yum your yum. You know what I'm saying? I don't think this is the best job Logitech could have done with this mouse. I think it is a huge improvement in terms of build materials and quality over the MX3 and 3S. I think the shape is pretty darn nice, and it's a striking mouse. I think that the kind of transparent plastic over it is actually kind of a cool touch, and depending on the lighting in your environment, I think this could be a pretty cool looking mouse. It's a shame it only comes in corporate approved colors of gray and white in different shades. And I think that if you're someone that has an MX Master and you're like, I need a new one, mine's falling apart, or you've been eyeing it, this is a good option. But when the Keychron M6 is out there, or the M7 if you like that shape, that is just a way higher performance mouse with a lot of the same features, minus the haptic touch, which for me isn't a big deal. I don't think that this is worth the $120 asking price. I think it's nice that they didn't have a significant price increase from the 3 series to the 4. We live in a time where the price of 5-year-old electronics is going up, not down, and that's a huge bummer. So $120 isn't necessarily an unfair price for this, but personally, if I'm looking for a mouse for my productivity, I'm gonna look at Keychron between $40 and $70, and you get a much more performant mouse even at that $40 price. Logitech, I think if you want to capture my heart, which I don't think you do, this is not the mouse that you're making for me, I think it's time to make something in this shape with these features that doesn't sacrifice on performance. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe you're looking at this mouse and you're like, this is the coolest mouse I've ever seen. And if that's you, let us know in the comments. And if that's not you, let us know in the comments. And if you are either of those categories, why don't you keep watching Short Circuits? Like the time I unboxed the M5, which I'm still currently using on my desk. I freaking love that mouse. That's a vertical mouse, but it also is a good indicator of what the M6 would be like, which maybe you want us to unbox on Short Circuit. Let us know that below. If you want us to unbox an M6 or an M7, we can do that. Just comment below. You know what I'm saying?